Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. First of all, I would like to show that I am wearing another Support Local shirt. Alex Patusi there with Work Nicer. Gotta love it. Of course, I've done Oh My, Local Laundry, and our friends at See Ya Dead and John Anderson, who Ryan is a friend with and played hockey. I'd also like to give a quick plug to the Community Now magazine. We are hosting a mental wellness week. It's been running for 2 days already. Today's the launch of the third day. Check it out, communitynowmagazine.com. You can click on it in the comments section. There's some great people talking about some great stuff, and we just want to let everybody know that you're not alone and you can reach out to everybody. I'd also like to thank Bessie, another local company, for sponsoring it. Check them out in the comment section as well, and they bring beef, chicken, sashimi grade seafood directly to your door, working with local farmers around Alberta and BC. Again, today's Telling It Like It Is guest is Ryan Corry, the co-founder of localshops.com. Ryan, thank you for joining me, and how are you?
Yeah, my pleasure. Doing well. Life's busy these days, that's for sure. A good thing, I imagine, during the pandemic. But yeah, we're keeping our head above water and juggling a lot of hats these days, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, I guess we should throw it out there. You started a brand new business in September. You had twins. So I'm sure that you're juggling quite a few things as we go.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest 2 months of my life, just managing the time and staying up until 3 a.m. working on the startup and launching in new cities, and then waking up early. And anytime you get a startup going, it's usually not the only thing. So I still have my consultant job with an accelerator out in New York City, and my own e-commerce startup as well with Shopify. So yeah, it was just crazy timing, but that's how the world works. Everything kind of plateaus at the same time, right?
Oh, it is so. It is true, and hopefully everybody's healthy with the family and mom and the babies.
Yeah, absolutely. No, everyone's doing well. So very blessed in that regard. And anytime I have a stressful day, I just have to look at my kids and see how happy and healthy they are, and really nothing else matters. But still what I do love is local business and e-commerce, and that's kind of why I got into this space to begin with. And of course, seeing everything transpire over the pandemic, I just couldn't sit by and kind of watch businesses suffer, and I wanted to create this solution. Not only to help other fellow businesses, but indirectly, this also helps my own e-commerce business. So it's a solution for all e-commerce merchants, local businesses, to aggregate the product listings, allow consumers to easily find, discover, and buy pretty much everything locally.
No, absolutely. I love the platform, and I've been promoting it for a while, and talking about it at a lot of different events, and obviously even some of the people that I know that are on there saying it's been driving a lot of traffic to their website. So I'll give a brief introduction about you, and then we'll talk about localshops.com. So Ryan is born and raised in Calgary, former minor pro hockey player. His experience extends through the event industry, nonprofit, tech, and e-commerce. His most active roles today are with his apparel brand Uni Chillwear, entrepreneur in residence at Kiwi Tech, a New York City accelerator. His e-commerce startup is Local Shops. Local Shops was designed to give small businesses a competitive platform to compete against major retailers with demand delivery, with a breadth of product and consumer incentives. So we talked about this. It's a fresh launch. You did it in September with your co-founder, Serene Yu. It sounds like it's been a great partnership to date. Tell us, you briefly touched on it, but share how you came up with it, why you started, and how your partnership with Serene came to fruition.
Yeah, so I previously had another tech startup. It was a freelance platform geared towards college and university students. And we relaunched that after a rebuild in December. And of course, then the pandemic hit, and it was pretty hard to access the market moving forward. There was a lot of architectural similarities between that platform and an e-commerce platform. And that's really where my experience lies. So instead of kind of waiting for this pandemic to blow over and get back into the fold into the college and university market, I thought, I really should pivot this. Like, where are my skills applicable? What is going on currently in the business environment? And it was just a perfect storm of, feeling, skill sets, and ambition that kind of led to the idea. And so I approached our accelerator, who I consult for, about this pivot and needing to raise some capital. So they gave me an opportunity to present to our investor network. And Serene saw kind of that post on LinkedIn, and I had previously mentored with Serene at Startup Weekend with Startup Calgary. And she's also very passionate about the support local movement and local businesses, and of course, being a senior developer and owning her own boutique dev firm. It was a really fantastic scenario because you had two individuals who could, collaborate on this, both with needed skill sets, me on the business, marketing, and e-commerce side, Serene on the tech and development side, to drive this home. And it's been a great work marriage ever since. She's extremely talented. She's got a great focus on her team as well. They're all local developers, which goes with, our mission and values as well. And we've been able to just iterate constantly based on market feedback. And it's been going quite well since we launched in September. So 110,000 products now listed between Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, New York City, Los Angeles, and Boston.
No, it's such. I've met Serene as well, and she is awesome, and I love what she does. And I've sent a few leads to her as well. Pixel Tree is also in the comment section. It's on the screen right now if you want to check out what she does on her main business as well. So you mentioned that you started in September. You've moved all the way across North America already. How have you been able to do that in such a short period of time?
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of due diligence prior to launch. I had my previous startup, as I mentioned, with somewhat of a lackluster launch, and also it's kind of just a continuous attempt at the market. And that doesn't really let you get out the door with a bang. So this go around, I made sure I had press releases in place. I built up a database of journalists that was probably about 30 strong. We built out a pipeline of businesses in each one of the markets we wanted to launch in as well, that were our particular user base. So in this case, it was Shopify merchants. And then we had our social media posts, and basically we just timed everything within the span of a few days of one another to really blow it out of the water. It was like throwing dynamite in the lake rather than just throwing your fishing hook in there, right?
Yeah.
And so that does create explosive traction. We had decent press. I still believe we haven't achieved the press we deserve. We should definitely be on national news because we're not just a directory like so many of the other platforms we've seen on national news. But we got press at CTV News Edmonton. The Financial Post did a piece. Avenue Magazine was great. They did a piece. Curiosity had a little write-up on us as well. So we've got little bits and pieces, and that goes a long way in terms of the visibility, timing that with the social posts and paid campaigns as well. Really helps to drive the traffic. So.
No, absolutely. And I put your other business up there, Uni Chillware. It was on the screen. You can click on it in the comments section as well. So let's talk about a little bit of the marketing and what you had to do to get out there. I want to expand on that a little bit because I think it's so important, where everybody just thinks that, if you build it, they will come. If you just buy some Facebook ads, everything will be fine, and how to specifically spend those marketing dollars. What have you done over the last couple months?
Yeah. So, with our launches, we've done promoted Instagram posts in the launch city to correspond to amplify the post. Of course, Instagram has algorithms that give the paid posts the greatest visibility. Otherwise, you're only being shown to like 10% of your following. Again, that's another reason why we created local shops, because every platform out there right now goes to the highest spender,
Yeah.
not just the good business. And then we did some Facebook ads as well, just some reoccurring small ads, like $30 budget a day in the markets we're currently active in, just to have continuous presence and visibility with the consumer audience, as well as potential merchants who may want to use our platform. It's important that the merchants and your user base sees you doing some work and go into bat for them in terms of the marketing. That's going to show them value and be eager to stay on the platform. And we'll really ramp that up as we refine our platform as well. This early stage, it's a lot of testing with marketing. It's a lot of testing with the user base. We started with Shopify. Once we have WooCommerce and Wix over the next week, we'll eventually tackle those integrations and user base. But we'll be a lot more calculated now that we've been able to see how users are engaging with us, where we need to perform better with our own UI, UX, and dev, and kind of scale accordingly from there. So the first 3 months is a lot of spaghetti against the wall, that's for sure.
Well, I use a little different analogy, but I guess it can be a family-friendly show.
Yeah.
So let's, again, with your marketing and obviously that has done, extremely well, and you've got out there, and now I want to talk a little bit about the process. So let's use Uni Chillware. So you're gonna come in, and I want to set up an account, I want to buy, or I want to be a seller. How does that process work?
Yeah, so the way we're building our platform is so streamlined for existing e-commerce merchants, and because we just don't want to recreate the wheel. We don't want to turn this into a make work project. We want to create a sales channel for these merchants to have their products accessible and visible, and the consumers to be able to easily find and support them. So we build existing integrations with e-commerce platforms. We started with Shopify. We're an app listed on the Shopify App Store. This week we'll have finished WooCommerce and Wix. So anybody with these e-commerce platforms and an existing site can connect their existing store to local shops. We pull all their product listings into our site, and they're available for consumers to find and purchase from. So it's that simple. It literally takes under 3 minutes, and there's no marketplace that is doing this to this degree. You can't even get on Amazon this easily with Shopify's integration.
Really?
So that's something I'm pretty proud of, is our ability to execute on that front. And now, if you don't have an existing e-commerce solution, we still have an opportunity for you to use the platform as almost a gateway into selling online, rather than taking that big leap of faith into a full-fledged website, because it's not a cure-all solution, and there is a very high degree of know-how in terms of managing and executing a Shopify store or a Wix store or a WooCommerce. There needs to be content, there needs to be copy, there needs to be quality images, strong SEO, you name it. There's so many different parameters that go into allowing you to be visible. And so for a fresh merchant to go from 0 to 60 and get right into that, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. I mean, I was even in that scenario myself. And so with local shops, we have a solution where a merchant can sell their goods just as easy as you would post your, Santa hat on Kijiji and sell it, to somebody on the used market. We can do that with consumer products. So that's also really exciting. And then the other layer we're building into this, which again puts us in position to scale, is our on-demand delivery. We're partnered with a company out of Edmonton called Delio, another startup founded by a former Olympian. We're really excited about that. And then the last thing we're rounding out is our own checkout experience for consumers.
No, that's, and I like that, right? Especially what you have, started and got for the local. Everybody's talking support local. And this is a great way for a lot of them to have a platform that will help them, sell their goods, moving forward, not only here and of course, all the cities that you've mentioned around the world. You also are running a couple test projects, and I know you mentioned before that you're going to possibly be able to work with some festivals. Are you able to expand on that?
Yeah, so we're piloting some things right now. It's like a marketplace within our marketplace, essentially, almost like Facebook and Facebook pages. That same relationship. We did this with the City of Medicine Hat and the Medicine Hat Chamber and Alberta Community Futures. They all kind of collaborated on this pilot with us, and they've just been over the moon with our execution and the result on this. So basically, we've created a brand and marketplace solution for them. So merchants in Medicine Hat would sign up through local shops. They would request to join the Medicine Hat marketplace specifically, and then all their products automatically get listed on that Medicine Hat marketplace, and they can share their own custom URL directly with their community members rather than people going directly to local shops. So it's a nice kind of branded custom feel scenario that is leveraging our technology. But the merchants still get the benefit of being visible within our overall community as well. So even though they're in the Medicine Hat branded marketplace, they're still able to be searched through our filter of Medicine Hat in local shops. And if, for example, you were looking for something in Calgary, it wasn't available, but it was available by a local supplier in Medicine Hat, we would be able to show you that product listing. So at least you're still supporting provincially. And then if it's not available provincially, then we expand out further to the other provinces. So at least you're supporting nationally. But that's how we kind of pan it out on a radius. So we can still give the consumer what they're looking for and make sure that they're supporting local.
No, and I love that, right? Start locally, start city, start provincially, and then nationally, and then I guess you can kind of go from there. And and I think it's something that, again, I mean, I hope people talk about it, and I don't know. I guess we'll find out maybe when the sales numbers and things come out in the next 2 or 3 months, if people are supporting local, if they're still just going to run down to their local thing or buy from Amazon all the time. I mean, I hope not. Yeah. I know us as a family have made a conscious effort to support local wherever we can. And even when we figured the next lockdown was going to come, I said, Kath, let's go get out there and just start, hit all the local shops that we can to buy the Christmas gifts for the girl.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking to the founder, Jackson Payne of Delio, who's the demand delivery company we're partnering with to create that environment for local shops as well. And that we were just talking about Amazon and how much e-commerce sales have surged. And he told me something crazy, that it took Jeff Bezos like 20 some plus years to build up his current wealth. And basically he doubled it over the last 6 months. And so what that's telling you, that consumer spending is not actually staying local. And why is that? Because Amazon has a critical mass marketplace. You can find pretty much anything. It's quick delivery, and it's easy to search and find. And the problem with supporting local is now you're having to go through things like Google, which rely on algorithms, which rely on paid content, and they suppress small businesses. They give the visibility to the biggest spenders and the companies with the best SEO and biggest budgets. So it's not a conducive environment to find and source local goods. We have sellers in every major city who sell products that everybody is buying on Amazon, but these people aren't visible online. And that's the essence of our platform here at Local Shops, is to give them that one-stop solution that gives them that competitive advantage locally and doesn't give a consumer a reason to go to an Amazon. When you can find it here on Local Shops and know it's coming from across town, why go to Amazon? People will say shipping. Well, that's why we have demand delivery. You'll actually get it quicker. They say, well, incentives, we have Prime. That's why we're building incentives and discount rates for our consumers as well. So we want to give them zero opportunity to go anywhere else other than local shops.
And I think that's so important. And this is why I mean, I could have had you on 5 times leading up to this with all the local people that I've brought on in the last 5 weeks. But I just love what you've created, because even with our conversations going back 9 months ago when we started sitting there going, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? How is local shops going to survive? How are these little guys gonna make it when they're going to be the ones that are going to get screwed because they don't have the money, they don't have the power, they don't have, when you talked about, especially for advertising on Google, they don't have the budgets to spend $5,000 a month or whatever the number it is. It's very, very difficult for this. So to have a platform like localshops.com to come in there, help them, sell more product and help them with their SEO and get their word out there a little more with the stuff that they're probably going to spend on Google and Facebook ads or whatever they choose to do that helps their business, is only going to add to the success, let's hope, of our local economies.
Yeah, no, it's 100% will. And, we plan to be the low cost provider for this type of environment, and then focus just on critical mass. And that will create value to everybody. We're not interested in gouging local merchants for 20 to 30% like an Uber Eats or DoorDash. We're not interested in gouging them 18% like Amazon takes off of every merchant sale. And I know this because I also sell our products on Amazon. So, the environment of marketplaces, again, it's not conducive to small business. And we want to be the solution for them. We think there's a gap in the market here from a few different angles that we're servicing. And that's what we're most excited about. And, I even had an investor say, well, why wouldn't people just start selling on Amazon, or why wouldn't Amazon do this? Well, Amazon could do this, but they're still going to be charging 18%. And their branding and feel has already been set in stone that what they're delivering is factory direct products, pretty much. These are coming from China. These are coming from factories all over the world. They're being fulfilled through their fulfillment centers. If there is a local seller involved, they're likely just a middleman or a drop shipper, right? And it's not the same feel. And I think that will go a long way with our consumers. They recognize what we're doing. They're on board with the vision and our values. And I think that'll be the biggest differentiator for us.
I think so. And I mean, as people start growing here and you start expanding your offerings, and especially putting together your own e-commerce site where it acts more like an Amazon, I think that is great. But let's talk about that. What are your short-term goals? Let's say, I know we had a conversation before saying, well, we've got a lockdown during Christmas, so we're going to accomplish this. So what's your 2021 goals? And then maybe, maybe your 3 or 5 year goals.
Yeah. So, more immediately, I mean, just in the next couple of weeks, we're finishing off our WooCommerce and Wix integration. Those will accompany our already existing Shopify integration. We're also engaging in talks with several potential partners to help facilitate our in-app checkout, right? Because we're not going to be a directory. We want consumers to be able to purchase from multiple merchants and multiple products at a single go, right within our platform, and then a few clicks. So that we expect delivery towards the end of January. We're also going to continue dovetailing off of our good experience and working with Medicine Hat and the chamber there. I actually have a conversation today with the Calgary Chamber. We've been talking closely with the city of Calgary as well as Calgary Economic Development, and hoping that we can create an environment here for local businesses as well, and similarly up in Edmonton. So we think we can scale these types of partnerships across the country. And the end goal by the summertime, end of summertime, I mentioned this to you, we want to be over 1 million products listed and over 10,000 merchants. Right now we're at 1,500 and 110,000, so it's not very far-fetched. And we expect to service most major cities in North America by the summertime. Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, and those goals aren't far-fetched at all. I mean, the way you guys have gone since your mid-September launch has been rocking and rolling. So I think it's awesome. And everything that you guys have done, I just, to support local, whether it's going to be in Calgary or Medicine Hat or Edmonton or Toronto, it doesn't matter, whatever market it is, the local economy is going to be so important to our survival. It's all these little shops, whether it's brick and mortar and whether it's e-commerce, they need to be there. We need to support them, and they need to make sales, and that's just the bottom line to survive.
Yeah, exactly. They need to make sales. They need a competitive advantage locally. You have your Etsy's, you have your Wayfairs, you have your Amazons, and these marketplaces all over the map, but they don't have this local focus. There's been nobody to come out with this direction as their sole business model. And, you've heard in the national news, not Amazon.ca and Good Local out of Winnipeg, and, similar values to us, but, they're not scalable.
Yeah.
That's why they're not in other major cities. I mean, not Amazon.ca is, but all this guy is doing is going through cities, building up a directory. It's so labor intensive. And then he's providing that directory to people. And, eventually it'll become saturated and lose its value, and it's just not scalable, and there's no business model built around it.
Yeah.
Good Local out of Winnipeg, they're driving their products around themselves. They're taking in the inventory themselves, and that's also not scalable. That's why we have integrations with existing solutions, because we're totally hands off with inventory management. All the merchants can manage it on their own. We just ping them for when a sale has been made and they need to ship something. And then we also have our partnership with on-demand delivery, so we don't have to worry about driving crap around ourselves. Our partners will do that, and they'll be scalable to all of our jurisdictions in Canada with Delio. They've already proven their ability there. And in the US, we're partnered with another company called Rova, based out of Boston. So, we're positioning this to leapfrog absolutely everybody. We've done it from the start strategically, because both Serene and I have a tech background. We know how to put ourselves on the right track to scale. And you'll see this over the next few months. We'll leapfrog everybody, and it'll be very hard to catch us.
And again, as soon as I saw you guys and heard you guys, I know I reached out, because I just love what you're doing, and you and Serene have to be commended for it, because I truly believe it's going to blow up and move forward quite rapidly, as it already has. So hats off to you guys for doing this. Thank you.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thanks for having us. And obviously everything you do as well, supporting local businesses, local entrepreneurs as well. Calgary's not only looking to support local businesses, but also to support the local tech community. And this is what we are. We're tech wholeheartedly. This is built from scratch. There's no off-the-shelf stuff, and built to scale. So we need the support from the community as well. We are a local business ourselves. And if we can support this type of platform, not only are you supporting the tech industry in our province, but you're also supporting all the local businesses who utilize our platform. So,
oh, absolutely. No, and thank you for those kind words. It's great. I love doing this. But I do want to ask you one more question, though, Ryan. And I want it to be a little more folk, because you work with an accelerator, you've done e-commerce, and over the last 9 months, we've helped quite a few people scale to e-commerce because they've had to. But if you had one piece of advice for a small business entrepreneur or startup to scale or start e-commerce, what would that be?
Well, to start e-commerce, I would suggest utilizing our platform first to kind of test the waters with even being able to sell your stuff. Because if you start a website, you're not going to have immediate visibility. You're still going to have to self-promote your stuff just as you would self-promote on local shops. The only difference is we're also helping you promote it, right? Yeah. So, this is a good place to get your feet wet and then get comfortable, and then move into a platform like Shopify, Wix, or WooCommerce. If you want to take that big leap of faith right off the bat, you certainly can. There's the Shop Here program that the city is running that helps onboard small businesses and actually builds the websites for them on Shopify. And then you can simply integrate in with local shops and have all your products listed that way as well. I should also note we do have an Instagram integration. So if small businesses aren't using any tool, but maybe showcasing some quilts or hats or new t-shirts they've made on Instagram and kind of putting feelers out for their business, they can integrate on that. and create product listings right from their Instagram content. So we're kind of keeping everybody at every step of their business cycle in mind with our platform, and that's what's really exciting. We can support them all.
No, that's awesome. That's great advice, and it's not as easy as you think. That's for sure, as you can attest, doing it a handful of times, and also, helping people through the accelerators. So again, anybody that wants to check it out, it's localshops.com. You can click on it in the comments section. Check out the communitynowmagazine.com. We're running a mental wellness week, as anybody that's out there can realize that you're not alone. Reach out and help, because it's so important at this time, especially going through our second lockdown. And if you just need to talk to somebody, there's so many great stories coming out this week, and you definitely need to check it out, because asking for help is not a sign of weakness. So Ryan, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate what you're doing and the time that you spent with us today.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Thanks for having us. And, quick shout out to my team as well, Serene, and all our developers for continuing to work so hard. And appreciate it.
Excellent. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Ryan and Serene. And we'll talk soon. Okay. Bye-bye.